here on our all-weather streaming show. You can catch us every weeknight at 6:30. So we have been talking about the fact that it hasn't been too overly muggy here, but let's get a live look now at what we've been tracking across Alabama. You've noticed some clouds around on First Alert Sky Vision. We have a partly cloudy sky that we're seeing, and I'm going to just ask our director if we can get a view of what is happening in the camera screen beneath me. We have what's airing on actual TV right now, but we want to also see what's going on here on streaming. There we go. A live look at First Alert Sky Vision. We've got a partly cloudy sky for tonight. Temperatures in the mid 80s over in Summiton, and I think we're going to be staying pretty dry. Now, the dew point is going, was that a bird or a bug? I don't know. We're not going to think about it. So the dew point, you'll notice it's a bug in the 70s. So when we see dew points in the 70s, that means there is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So we're going to be seeing those humidity levels gradually rising again over the next couple of days. But right now, it's not awful outside. Checking in at 86 in Summiton, but as we see humidity going up over the next several days, those heat index values are going to go up as well. And that means we have a first alert for feels like temperatures likely getting back into the triple digits for the rest of the week. Whereas today it wasn't too bad, but I do expect we're going to be seeing some changes in the forecast later this week as those humidity level rise. As it rises, it's going to feel that much hotter outside. Now, we haven't had any rain to cool us off today, at least for us here in central Alabama. You'll notice to our south and west across southeast Mississippi, parts of southwest Alabama, seeing some stormy weather for tonight. But for us, we're just looking at a partly cloudy sky. Should be seeing some clearing overnight as well. Temperatures right now 91 in Fayette, but 88 in Anniston, 90 in Rockford, 88 here in Birmingham, and 91 in Utah. Not seeing anything on First Alert AccuTrack. If you plan on hanging out by the pool for tomorrow, I still think we're going to be fairly dry. The best chance of seeing a few thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon is going to be areas to the southwest. So we're talking places like Sumter, Pickens County, Green Hill County, Tuscaloosa County. In those spots, I think you'd stand a better chance of seeing some pop-up showers and storms during the afternoon and evening hours. So let's look at the futurecast here over the next 48 hours. I think most of us will even be staying dry tomorrow morning, but notice some of our high-resolution models are picking up on the possibility of some thunderstorms down that I-20 corridor in our counties to the south and west. Our next big thing is we're really transitioning back to a northwest flow pattern. That means we can get disturbances coming in from the northwest that push to the southeast, and they do have the potential to come across our area and bring some heavier downpours, some frequent lightning. So it looks like tomorrow that best chance would be areas to the south and west. That's not to say couldn't see an isolated thunderstorm elsewhere, but for tomorrow, that's where the best coverage of activity looks to be. And then as we get into Thursday, still a partly cloudy sky. Still think that corridor down I-20 is where we could see that best chance for some storms. And then looking widely scattered for the rest of us later into the afternoon. But that's what's happening here at home. We are also monitoring an area in the tropics. The National Hurricane Center has given this disturbance out in the middle of the Atlantic a 50-50 shot of development over the next week. The good news is it's even well east of Bermuda. We do not anticipate it to have any impacts here in the U.S., but if we were to see another named storm, we'll let you know what it is coming up next on First Alert Weather Extra. Let's look what we have on tap for this evening. You know, we've been getting some pop-up showers and storms. Here it's been fairly dry today, but some catastrophic flooding in New England. Matt Daniel has an update for hurricane season on us, and then we'll let you know how extreme summer heat is affecting not only humans, but sea ice and coral reefs. First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Good Day, Alabama.
A new morning comes with preparing right, because while you slept, news broke.
We have new information from that breaking news that happened this morning.
While you head out, the storm we gave you the first alert for is on its way in. And as the key turns the ignition, your shorter route to work is being found.
Avoid 459 southbound completely because of a crash.
A new morning means everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama, always on your side.
the First Alert traffic you need to get you there safe and on time. Tomorrow morning, everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama.
You're late, out the door, and on the go. Don't worry.
Good Day Alabama continues all morning long.
And wherever you watch, this is what you need to know right now.
More reporters on the streets with more hours of news when you need it. Everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan here. Right now, a state of emergency in Vermont over what the governor there is calling historic and catastrophic flooding. Just take a look at some of these new images showing cars overwhelmed by rushing water. This video was captured in the city of Ludlow, where nearly the entire downtown area is flooded. President Biden approving a disaster declaration in the state, freeing up federal resources for disaster relief. Rivers in the state cresting higher than they did during Hurricane Irene in 2011. Well, that's what's happening here a little closer to home on the mainland U.S., but hurricane season is just around the corner. Well, hurricane season, we're in it right now, but the peak of hurricane season is just around the corner. We check in now with meteorologist Matt Daniel for an update.
Well, we're in the heart of the hurricane season, July, fairly early, so to speak, because normally it starts to ramp up in August and September. We've already had 3 named storms already. The next name on the list, Dawn. And so could we see Dawn over the next couple of days? Well, we are monitoring that area of low pressure trying to form several hundred miles northeast of Bermuda. And the models are hinting at something trying to develop. It may be subtropical in nature just because it's so far north, but it'll be something to watch over the next several days. And of course, we'll give you those updates. One thing that is limiting the tropical development over the past week or two is the Saharan dust from Africa. This is dry air with dust that's moving across the Atlantic, and that really limits and shuts us off of any tropical system. Hurricanes, tropical systems need moisture, so if you have a little bit of that, you're not going to see anything develop. And normally in July, you're going to see this dust happen, so this is very common for this time of the year. The big question is this hurricane season going to be very active, or is it going to be near average? Well, Colorado State last week released a new forecast. Originally, they were thinking it's going to be a near average season, but they've upgraded that. Now they're looking at 18 named storms. Out of those 18 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 of those could become major hurricanes, which are category 3, 4, or 5. Why are they predicting an above average temperature or above average season? Well, one big reason is the sea surface temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico and really the entire Atlantic unusually warm. These numbers are well into the mid upper 80s. You need temperatures around 80 or greater to support tropical storms to develop. And when they're getting close to 90, like in the Florida Keys, that is extremely, that's a lot of fuel for those storms. So that is one reason why the Colorado State is forecasting above average activity going into the peak of the season. Brian McNulty is a senior research associate at the University of Miami. He's been tracking the sea surface temperatures off the Florida Keys, and a lot of the sensors are showing temperatures between 95 and 97 degrees, which is just bathwater. That is extremely hot, and that's usually in the peak of the afternoon. These gauges are reporting, those sensors are reporting 95 to 97 degrees, and he's saying, you know, maybe people are questioning, is this right? But several stations are showing that, and we're just showing you this. And one of the things he wrote was, this is very far from normal. The latest sea surface temperature anomaly map is showing the areas are running maybe 5 to 7 degrees above the average for this time of the year. So with the warm waters, that's why they're forecasting it. But one thing that could maybe cause some problems with this forecast is we have a strong El Nino in place in the equator and the Pacific, unusually warm waters, and that usually creates more in the way of wind shear across the areas where we see tropical development. And when you have increasing wind shear, that usually limits tropical activity. So sort of like what's going to happen, we have things that could go for it for an active season, and then we have things going against it, such as El Nino. So we just have to watch and see what happens. I do think we'll see storms. The question is, will they hold together as they make their way closer to the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico? So the peak of the season is still several months away, September 10th. So we got a long ways to go. And of course, we will keep you updated on the tropics if anything develops over the next several months. By the way, hurricane season ends November 30th.
Thanks, Matt. Always appreciate your insight. Well, farther south, sea ice levels in the Antarctic hit a record low for the month of June. According to the World Meteorological Organization, the levels were 17% below average this year, breaking the previous June record by a large margin. And while those numbers went down, global sea surface temperatures went up, reaching record highs for the periods of May and June this year. Experts say these are worrying trends caused by climate change. And scientists are warning of even more marine heat waves with the return of El Nino, as Matt was mentioning. It's a weather pattern where you can see warming sea surface temperatures across parts of the globe. And the summer heat is threatening coral reefs in Florida and the Caribbean. In order to thrive, coral reefs need water temperatures in the mid-80s. But sea surface temperatures have recently reached as high as 95 degrees, and we haven't even reached the season of peak heating. If the water is too hot, it causes stress that can lead to bleaching and possibly death of coral. In fact, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says from now through October, there's a 60% chance of coral mortality across the Caribbean and South Florida. Well, the White House announcing they're taking new actions to officially warn people on heat-related dangers. NOAA will use $5 million of federal money to create 2 new virtual research centers. The centers will help underserved communities prepare for extreme heat. The White House also plans to develop a national heat strategy focused on environmental justice. And tonight we're on your side, helping you stay cool and comfortable in this heat. Health experts say some clothes and fabrics could irritate your skin this summer. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the dress I'm wearing today was a bad idea. It's kind of velvety, so not a great summer fabric. A doctor with Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center says your sweat can really irritate your skin. Yeah, shocking, causing inflammation. They say you should wear clothing that's smooth in texture and loose fitting, and to avoid synthetic fabrics like nylon, polyester, and spandex.
Flowier fabrics are going to be more comfortable. They're going to allow for more airflow and help our skin dry off in those areas that are getting a little bit moist.
She also says it's important to protect skin from the sun. If your skin is more sensitive to chemical sunscreens, you may opt for a mineral-based broad spectrum sunscreen. And remember, this is suede. So don't wear suede during the summer, obviously, though it is a sleeveless dress. I mean, come on, guys. So coming up next on Weather Extra, we'll take a look at that 7-day forecast before we send you off into your Tuesday evening. We'll be right back.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
Need to be into a tornado-safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof. can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Before you go and enjoy your evening, we do want to give you a first alert that the space station will be flying over again for tonight. A lot of you were able to catch it last night around 9 o'clock. So it'll be back a little before 9 o'clock this time and will be in the sky for about 6 minutes. Well, it's always up there, but at least in our vantage point, you have about a 6-minute window to view it. Starts at 8:43 and will disappear at 8:49. Now it's going to be about midway up the horizon, which last night we had a great view of it. Unfortunately, we all had to crane our necks to look up because it was so high up in the sky. So it's going to be more mid-horizon tonight. There could be a few clouds around, but I think most of us should be okay in terms of viewing conditions. So first look towards the south-southwest, and then it will disappear towards the east-northeast. And then we look at that 7-day forecast here. We do expect a few thunderstorms, likely more areas across West Alabama for tomorrow, and then that rain chance just gradually goes up as we go into the weekend. So I wouldn't necessarily say Saturday and Sunday look to be a washout, but I would expect more showers and storms around. Hey, good napping weather if you need it. And then not just the heat that is the problem, but the humidity is going up over the next few days too. But you can check in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt tonight. We've got MLB going on this evening, so at 10 o'clock WBRC will actually be back on tonight. Despite what that says right there, ignore it. We're going to be back on at 10. And you can check in for the latest on your forecast then, and then join us here on Weather Extra tomorrow night at 6:30. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Tuesday evening.